We've created a safe space for conversations with everyday working people. So if you can't please that boss or that employee just can't seem to get it right, these conversations are for you. My name is Roberta Orioma, and this is Why I Hate My Boss. We have two guests with us today. The first is a food innovator, baker, and the co-founder of MamaDora Limited. Her name is Nathalie Okotie-Eboh. The second is a multi-hyphenate creative, a filmmaker, an event host, and a presenter. Her name is Asemota Imarhia. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, let's jump right into it. So tell us a bit more about yourselves and what you do. So we'll be starting with the multi-hyphenate creative.
Basically, I do a lot of things from filmmaking and I'm a producer, production manager. I'm an actor too. I'm a makeup artist in that space. Well, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, hang me. But yeah, I do a lot of things. So that is it for that.
Nice. And over to you.
So I'm nothing like Imarhia. I'm a food innovator, a brand storyteller, and a baker. So I co-own 3 businesses with my sisters. MamaDora, a food manufacturing company, Melon Glass Jars, a packaging company, and we just recently launched our online bakery, which is Tally Cafe.
Oh, that's good. Well, I've had some of your products, and obviously you guys supplied us with some of these things that are on set. So thank you very much for doing that.
Thank you for having us.
Having our back. So we're going to jump right into it before we jump right into it. So the first thing we're going to do is play a game, right? It's called 2 Truths, 1 Lie.
Wow.
Workplace edition. So basically, you tell me, you say 3 things, right? 2 has to be like truths. 1 has to be a lie. From your experiences working for people. Who wants to go first? Nathalie, you go first.
I saw my boss harass one of our workers, or his workers, holding him by the throat. Secondly, I cried to work for a whole month every day. And lastly, I won a gift at work.
I think the last one is a lie, because you thought about it too long. Maya tried. I was thinking about them, like, people actually get gifts at work a lot. So maybe, I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe it should be the boss strangling somebody for Maya.
Halai. Crying for a month straight.
Yeah, I believe it too. People have cried 3 months to work every day. Okay, which is a lie?
Winning a gift.
Winning a gift is a lie?
Yeah.
I got it. You never won a gift at work?
Not that I can remember. I got money, but that wasn't like the gift. It was more like, no.
Okay, you see? So your boss was trying to strangle somebody. We'll come to that. We'll come back to it. So Imarhia, your turn.
My boss wanted me to walk every morning with her in the estate, exercise every morning with her.
Like as part of your job?
Yes, I don't know.
Okay, you're not supposed to tell me. Sorry, you're too sorry. I'll get into the gist of it, but I'll come back to it.
My boss noticed that my phone was bad and gave me money to buy a new phone. I got promoted after a month.
Your boss? You try first.
She got promoted after a month.
What did you say?
She got promoted after a month.
She got promoted after a month. Well, actually, people usually don't get promoted after a month. I go with that one. You got promoted after a month. Which is it?
Got promoted after a month.
It's a lie, right? So wait, let's backtrack. So your boss wanted you to walk with her every day to work. Or every day at work as exercise, as part of your job. Was it was your boss did she have a fitness firm or something?
So she had a gym in her house. She was a fitness enthusiast. I think, let's start by saying that I had just started that job. It was new. And I had left structure, and I had left a multinational to work with this one-woman company because she said she wanted to start a media company. And I got in, and she wanted to do a lot of things, and she wanted to be a fitness consultant. She wanted to be a lot of that. And she saw me, and like the first day I'd asked her, like when I went to her place to find out, oh, okay, so I'm starting work in a week. What's like the dress code was? And she was like, oh no, the dress code is really simple, fitness wears, because we're going to be exercising a lot in the morning. I was like, oh yeah, cool, no problem, no wahala. She was like, oh, she thought that I'll have a problem with it, saying that, oh, she really noticed that I was on the big side. Yeah, that she noticed I was on the big side. I remember going to like, oh, my boss said I'm going to be exercising, and my friends are like, what if you don't want to work? I was like, oh, well, I've been working remote for quite some time, and I've added weight, so I feel like it tracks, it works, I can do this. But I wasn't expecting it to be like a part of my KPI. She told me to get...
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I'm so sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
She told me to get a scale.
What?
Yeah, she told me to get a scale. I had to get a scale. I had to stand on that scale I think it was every week or every morning. She told me like, oh, so you have to stand on this scale. You will not wear anything. You stand on it. Then you take a picture of your weight, and then you send it to me and all of that. It was like, there was a day, like on Saturday, when it was raining, she expected me to show up because I had like accommodation, I had official accommodation too. And she expected me to just show up every morning, like as early as, work doesn't start until like 8, but she expected me to come by 6 a.m. and start working the estates. And it was crazy. Yeah.
So how did you navigate it?
You see, I quit that job after 18 days.
Because I should not be laughing. I'm sorry.
I cried every day for 18 days. I cried, but I don't cry every day for 18 days.
Yeah.
Especially with work, and especially just living. You know, like multinationals have structures. They can't just sack you.
Yeah.
And I left. They were begging me that why am I leaving? And like every other job that I left, they're like, oh, why are you leaving? I'm like, oh no, I need greener pasture. I need to make money and all of that. But this job stressed me. Like, because it now, every conversation now turns to, you know, I can't work with someone that is overweight.
Oh wow.
I can't work with someone who is overweight, you're fat and everything. So the straw that broke the camel's back was the first time I sent in my measurement. And she had asked me prior to that, like, oh, so what are you weighing currently? I was like, currently I weigh 80 kg. And I sent in my measurement for the day, and she was like, oh, you're 82. Like, my job was executive assistant. That was my job title, executive assistant. Come and build this company, this consulting firm that I am building. And the next thing is, it has started. And she was like, I sent it in. I said, oh, after the work that morning, she called me into the house. I noticed that in meetings, she used to tell, like, because we're still at the planning phase of the business and we're still working on, like, the business document. And she would mention to her business partners that, oh, in the morning, instead of me to be walking and jogging, that I will be strolling. And, like, my weight had now become a source of conversation, and I'm like, okay, this was like every single conversation was, oh, I can't work with you if you're overweight. I can't work with you if you're fat. I can't, like, amidst other issues, but I felt like I didn't have autonomy over my body, because why are you so obsessed at this point? Even me, I want to lose weight, but it's not that serious. Big a deal. Like, it's not that serious. And she would just mention, and that day I sent in my measurement, and she was like, you told me you were 80. On this measurement, you were 80. So I was like, oh yeah, I didn't know that, like, after eating, I measured in the morning was 80. But I ate, and in the evening and in the morning I measured, it was 82. It wasn't like I was giving excuses. I was just saying like, this is what happened.
So sorry. So for clarity, in the morning it was 80, in the evening it was 80. This shouldn't even matter.
Yeah. So that was the conversation. It became a back and forth. Oh, you are fat. I can't work with you. Oh, the reason I've been trying to give you spacing so that when you finally lose weight, you're supposed to lose weight. I'm supposed to monitor how you're supposed. I need to know so that you know what are you going to be. I need to know what you are eating. Like it was this at this point she was obsessed. At this point it was an obsession. I was like, and in my head is, I can't do this again. I was like, no, I can't. I said, no, I can't, because I noticed that there was a pattern. It's like I used to work for people that...
You worked for another...
and I was like, no. History will not repeat itself. I will not be bullied. And I told her, you know what? I can't do this anymore. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm not doing this. I quit. And she was shocked. She was like, oh, millennials, you don't know how to keep job. Oh, all right. I was like, okay, no problem. That's what you want to say. But I quit.
18 days. I think it's interesting. I think it made sense that you left, actually. I have like a similar situation where I quit. I was there for 2 weeks, which is like... And I remember my sister telling me to just wait till the end of the month.
Yes, that one. Remember, everybody will tell you,
wait till the end of the month
before
you quit. And obviously, she was trying to do it from a good place because I was really broke. I didn't have money. I just moved to Lagos, right? I'd been in Lagos, like, trying to make it work, right? And the reason I quit that job was because if you go to work, so it's not like a very structured place, right? Where like I had like all these products they were selling. But this person would be like, all of us working, like the sales agent, would be when we were there, it would be like, we can't talk to each other. Except we're talking about work, and he has to hear what we are saying. So all of us would be there, and everybody would be quiet. And I kept thinking to myself, I'm supposed to be an adult, right? So I can't talk, right? And then what made it crazy was there was a day my mom called me, and I had to take the call. And he told me, oh, why did I pick up a call? Yeah, it's work hours. And I'm like, but we should be able to pick up calls during work hours, right? And he said, no, you can pick up calls from 5 p.m. So once you get to the office, you can't take any calls. I don't think I have an emergency. He says, no, you can't take over. I told my sister, I said, no, I'm not breathing well. Because all of us would just be there. You'd be like, this everybody would be quiet.
Like mortuary.
And he will be there. We'll be looking at him. We'll be looking at each other. And I'm like, this is beginning to feel like torture. I can't do this. So I just went to him and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And I left the job. I left the 2 weeks. I didn't ask for anything. I just left because, like, obviously you can't breathe, right? And if you can't breathe in a space, you shouldn't be there. And then I'm going to come to you. 2 things. You said a boss that was strangling. Was it strangling or harassing?
Choking. He held him. He held
choking
him.
A colleague.
He held him his neck here. Held his shirt. I think that was the day I said, nah, I can't walk here. I might be the next person. And I was not even wrong. Because 3 days after I left, he called me and told me that his book was missing. And I took it. And we went back and forth through emails. I was shaking, I was crying. And he said, I will make sure you will never work in this industry again.
Oh my God.
And he went back and forth with my sister. And my sister, she was giving it to him because me, I was just crying. Me, small girl, I'm just trying to gather myself in this industry. I don't know anybody. And you're telling me that you will make sure that I will never work in this industry again, that I took your book. In fact, he's going to call the police. I called the other people working at the bakery, and they said, you are lucky you are not here, oh. It's a firehouse, oh. The guy is just giving everybody pass balls, that we took his book. And the painful thing was that after a while, he found that book. And he did not even send a message to say, oh, I'm sorry that I did this, I did that, I went back and forth with you, but I found the book. He didn't say, he had a problem apologizing to people if he was wrong. And till tomorrow, if I see that man, I will tell him my mind. I'm waiting for the day that we see him.
She wants to see them. I don't want to see anything.
No, I actually want to see him and say, I heard you found that book. that you told me that I will never make it in this industry. I'm still in this industry. Shay. So I'm waiting for him to apologize.
But okay, but you know that people like
No,
that will never.
No, but I will embarrass you. People are wicked in this life,
Yeah.
because you have power, and because other people are like beneath you. You think you can do some
Oppress
mean
them.
things. I remember when he did that thing to that guy, I said, Nathalie, you'll be the next person if you're not careful. Carry your slippers and run. And I told him, I said, sir, I'm not going to work here anymore. You know that you have to look for a lie that you want to tell them.
I think that is crazy, because you should be able to leave a place for wanting to leave, and it should not be anything more than that.
I said, sir, please, my sister found a job for me in one oil company. I said, so I want to go there. She said, since you are not, and it was like an internship program, since you are not paying me money, I use my transport to come here every day. I wake up very early. That time I was staying in Ojota. The place was around the island. I will leave around 6. We will not give us food though. We'll walk from morning to night. You cannot eat. You stand, you wash plate, or you stand trout. We'll carry Gary. We'll carry Gary inside this bottle and put granola. That's what we'll eat in the bakery that time. It will not give us food to eat. We'll stay there from morning to night. We'll come back again. We'll come back for you to carry your toxic self and start shouting for everybody. No, it was crazy.
Wow. Is this the same boss that was making you cry every day?
No, that was different. That was actually nice, but at the time,
you were crying every day. How is it nice?
No, at the beginning, he had this PA, so she was all facing it.
Yeah.
So I was not there. So she left. So I don't know how I just automatically turned to PA. So I was not supposed to report back to the office. I was supposed to come to his own office.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it was very nice. People would say, this man have weird. I said, no, this man is very nice. Even dashed me money. I said, no, he's a nice man. They say, the peer that I will tell me that you have not seen his other side. I will say, no, it's very nice. He even bought sandwich for me. After I bought that sandwich, my salary was not coming on time when you knew that I had a business. Salary will come like 2 to 3 weeks in between the months. That's when you pay me salary. Guys, because you have money now. You have your own business. So after she left, I was seeing another side of this man. I will no longer go to the other office. I was going straight to his office. And his office was last floor. You will climb, you will climb that staircase, and I will carry like big books upstairs. And by the time I got to the office, I'll be sweating. I'll be breathing. The man said, drop it. Later, I was not seeing another side that was not the same, because I've worked almost close to a year, and that was the longest I've done with anybody. Close to a year with him. He was saying he would use some mean words sometimes. So there were not days like for over a month, I'll go to the office, I'll be crying. I'll call my mom on the phone, I'll call my dad. My dad will say, is it by force? You leave the work now. I will cry to work. I'll clean my eyes. By the time when I get to the last floor, I'll clean my eyes. The man will talk, blah, blah, blah. Don't you have sense? Don't you do it like this? You do it like I say, this girl told me that I did not see the other side, though. After a while, I think a month after he did that, I said, I know it was December. I said, it's time for me to leave. Another lie that I want to tell, that I want to leave this time. And I told him that, I did not even just see that part. My eyes, I gathered tears in my eyes that day. He did not come to the office on time. I was gathering the tears. One of his partners that came. I said, okay, let me use that to practice. I was not crying. I was not telling her, my dad said I should go to the UK to go and do my master's. That I don't want to go. That I want to stay back. That I don't want to go and do my master's. I said, you are big enough to make it. I said, you don't know my daddy. His word is final. The tears as a few hours later, and that came like about an hour later. The tears I was not crying. They said, I'm so sorry, I have to go home. Say, when are you going to come back? I said, I don't know, sir. My daddy said I should come back home, that I should go and do my master's and wasting my time in Lagos. And I said, okay. When I went back home, he was not calling me. You're not going to resume? From my mind, I said, resume where? He will call me. Are you not coming back? I think when I got back to Lagos, my sister now told me that you go and finish this thing with this man. He's calling you, thinking that you resume. And I won't blame him. The man invested in me. I was going for classes and everything. And I told him that, sir, I'm going for my master's. So he said, what are you going to do in the UK? As if his daughter was not in the UK. what are you going to do in the UK? Stay back in Nigeria. When people are going to do something. So I say, no, sir, by September, I'm going to go to the UK. So I'm arranging my document and doing all the preparation. That's how I left. When I left, I was just happy. I was smiling.
Yeah, but I think that it's such a problem that the environment is so bad that you can't just say that, oh, I want to leave.
Because they will not let you go. They won't let you leave. It will not be a back and forth something that you people will be going back and forth. Why are you? I've invested so much in you. How do you want me to train another person? Which, yes, but at the same time, that job was not my dream job. It was just money for me to sustain myself at the time. So it was just, and I enjoyed it. I actually did enjoy it.
The parts that were not abusive.
Yes, because what people were saying is team members, his other people were working in the office, not just his personal assistant too.
Yeah.
They were always saying mean things about him. But because I did not spend so much time, one-on-one time with him, I did not see that side of him. Because we could go like 2-3 months, I won't see that side of him. I won't see himself for that 2 to 3 months. Then maybe we'll not say, oh, Nathalie, I want you to come to the office so to come and pick up something. Then I will go. But when his assistant now left, I will now have to come and resume to say, this man, it will not work.
So if you have like your 3 worst experiences with bosses, is this one of them? Is it?
If you say 3, I've not really worked with a lot. I've worked, but he will be the last,
He'll be the last.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He'll be the one choking.
That one. That was terrible.
Yeah.
That guy. And the bad part is when you see like celebrities or his co-workers, his colleagues, you'll be smile. You'll be like a different person. You'll not be able to say, is this the same man that you're working with in this? Say this will have issues.
So would you say that all these experiences put you off from working with people and like working with people long term?
Yes, because sometimes when I see your attitude from the very beginning, I'll just carry my load. I'm not even. Money will come one way or the other. My mental is very important. So when I see that you have some kind of, I will just withdraw. I will just tell you that I'm not doing it again. But I would have made sure that I've picked 1 or 2 things from your establishment.
Yeah.
I know that, okay, I can do this. Because I know that at the end of the day, I don't want to work for anybody. I want to work for myself. And I'm building something for myself. Yeah. So I'll just take what I can learn from you. Mm-hmm. And that's it. I'm okay.
Interesting. I think you've had like, I want to say really interesting experiences, but I don't know if interesting is the right word for it. So, yeah.
No, I've had a lot. I've had a lot. Yeah. I've had a lot.
So, Imarhia, to you, your 3 worst experiences working for bosses. If you've been enjoying our conversations, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And if you want to share your stories with us, send us a DM or an email.
You know, I know the whole of Lagos. And it's because of work that I know the whole of Lagos. I was working with this boss and she had this entire world of business where one time she was doing fashion, so she was selling like jewelries, bags, and then there was another it was beauty products, and there was one time it was magazine because she's a writer, and I trekked. I know Lagos. I'm not like, this is going to be my 10th year in Lagos, but at that time that was like my 3rd year in Lagos, and I knew, like, my friends call me right now anytime they are trying to navigate Lagos.
I call you.
Like, they call me and I'm like, okay, take like this and go like, and it's because of that job. Then I'll be on top of bike in between, you know, those trailers, the ones those containers in Alaba. I'll be on top of bike. I went to Ajegule. I went, like, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with these places. I went to Okotie-Eboh, and it's not like I will go to Ikorodu, go to Okotie-Eboh, go to Festac. One day, because she was collecting delivery from Lagos, and somehow she didn't want to spend the money. So like that, I'll be entering bus and flying, but I even had an accident. On top of it, one day I had 2 accidents. The first one was keke. I stood up, I continued with the bike. I kept on going.
You don't have a choice.
The next one, it was because, and there was a day that there was something going on in one of those areas, and I said I was going to that area, and the people in the bus said, "Why are you going to that place?" traffic, I don't even know why they told me inside the bus. Like, traffic day. So I called and she was like, you're not the one that will determine whether you are going to go or whether you will not go. You will not decide for us. I was like, if I go, there's no way I can now come back and do the other deliveries. It was, and oh God, she would scream, she would yell. If she was having a bad day, she'll make you want to have a bad day. Like, she will make sure that you're having a bad day too. Like, and she was very big on energy, but her transference of energy was amazing. Like, if she's deep down into hell, she wants to drag you there with her. If she's happy and you are not happy, you have to go there with her. It was really terrible. She was mean, and she used to say the meanest thing. I think she told me that, I'm stagnant. I'll be stagnant at a job because she was rushing off somewhere with her children, and I didn't tell her about the laundry in the office. She told me that wherever I was, even if I was in Ikorodu, I would go back to that office and go and drop that laundry in. I went back. I was on my way home. I went back to the office to go and drop the laundry. And I was just crying. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. She even called me a thief because I said I was not going to use my money because I refused to use my money to run errands for a business that period.
So she not called you?
Yeah, because I've been using my money since every month.
Why would you be using your money in the first place?
Because I'm using my money. Then the other one.
I think I know a bit of this gist. Maybe a lot of it. Yeah, I know it's like a touchy subject for you.
So let me tell you something. What that job did to me was, because I'm really soft. Like, things get to me easily. But that job, I stopped taking it easy with bosses. So that's when I met the other one that was obsessed with my body. And I met the other one that was obsessed with my side. I was like, nah. I clocked it. I was like, no, we're not going to have a reversal, because that particular one, that woman, she was smallish, but she used to threaten grown men that she will beat them. And I was like, how they say they want to beat me? Like, what are we doing here? Like, she would threaten grown men. Like, even in her house that was taller than her, she threatened that one. Say, one day we'll fight naked. I was like, and that day I was just in the living room. I was like, what am I doing? And then why? Because, mind you, I left a multinational.
I'm crying.
There was a day that in the multinational, my supervisor had said something to me, and I told him, I was like, sorry, you can't call me and be shouting at me. And he knew not to push because I would take it to HRO. And he will be in trouble. Like, I told him, no, you can't call me and be doing that. So to now live there, to now be in a place where they are threatening you, that they want to beat you. No.
So one question here. The boss that was doing that, the previous boss, not the last one that you clocked it with, what was your job description?
I came in as administrative. Admin, but we even had manager on top. I did PA. I learned a lot from that job, to be honest. Because let's now say this thing. She was really smart. And just to see women do something for themselves, it was inspiring. And like, I learned a lot from that job. I learned how to show up. I learned how to handle customers, because we're dealing with a lot of customers, and there's no way that a customer is shouting, you now shout back, they'll kill you now. What they will tell you that day. But it was admin manager, but I was procurement. I went to the markets. And to be honest, I started a business based off that, and I'm grateful for that. I went to the market. I was dispatched. I did a lot of. In short, I even did makeup one period safe. On top of that, I did makeup too. I did everything, and I'm using all of those skills right now. So a win is a win.
Yeah, but you'd rather not experience this part.
Not again.
The toxic part, you mean?
Because I feel like I could have been learning, and you would have been a decent human being, but she wasn't a decent person.
Got you. So how did you leave the job? Was it easy to leave? Like, when you had that conversation?
It wasn't. I know I didn't get paid for that
it.
for that last month because of how I just woke up and I was like, no, I'm not. I was like, I'm not doing this again. I woke up and I said, no, I'm not going to. And it was because she called me a thief. She had called me a thief and she had made that statement. And I got the before I wanted to leave, she was paying me 30K at first for all of this plenty this thing. And I wanted to leave and she now increased this to 50K. And I was like, okay, it's fine. There are good days. Let me just do it. Because there was no job at that time. And I really, really hate not being able to do something. So I said, okay, let me do it. But when I wanted to leave the second time, I knew that another drama was going to enter. So I left quietly. I think I just said, I'm not coming again. Like, I told the manager at that time. And I think there was something about, how I left and everything. So I sent a message. I didn't get paid. He paid me.
So yeah, I think you told us 2 experiences.
Yeah.
Third one.
There was a boss that didn't direct, really loved me, but was
Nasty to other people.
nasty to other people. But the only time she gave me stress was when I was like, you know what, I'm not working here again. And that was the only time she stressed me. But she really, really liked me. So
Interesting.
yeah.
So you've had experiences with good bosses as well.
I mean, of course, I have. Like when I said a boss, my phone was bad, and my boss offered to give me.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
he got
said
me,
that.
got me phone.
So I have a question, right?
Okay.
What was taking us back to like our very first jobs? What was your first salary? What was your job title? What was the salary? What was the workload on that salary?
No, that work was so sweet. I was an intern.
Okay.
It was for a magazine company and they were paying us 20K. At that time, 20K was a lot of money because from Ojota to Maryland at that time was 15 naira.
Oh, wow.
And I had free transport because my sister was working around there. So her now husband would pick us up, take us to work. So I was basically not using my money. Fuel was cheap. Everything was cheap at that time. So the money was so... And I was basically not really doing anything. I would just come research, do 1 or 2 things, carry the system, press, laugh, and go. It was like free money. And there was good structure in that place.
And so my question would be, why didn't you transition from like an internship role to something like more steady?
I didn't want to write. I wanted to go into the fashion industry.
Fashion, not cooking.
No. It wasn't cooking at the beginning. It was fashion. After I saw that they hired this to spark in that industry, I've carried my load and said, no.
Not fashion.
It's not
food
fashion.
industry.
It's better for me to be... Because after a while, I was getting tired. I was not getting the excitement that I would get cooking or baking. I wasn't really getting it. I was like, no, it's not worth it.
Got you. How about you, Mara?
Intern, so I was at an NGO. It was 25,000 naira. But I just remember that I was never really, like, I always had money because we would have trainings. And because as an intern, they would put us as part of the trainings. We eat in the hotel. They'll give us stipends. And this was like every week we had trainings and all of that. The workload was really, okay, I had this... supervisor, programs officer within this thing that really puts me to good use. And it was I worked a lot, but yeah.
So why didn't you transition into a more permanent role?
So at that time, there was a lot of, I'd noticed that there was a lot of parakwa going on. The person who was really like pushing my name out there had left the job. There was also the fact that they wanted more lawyers. I didn't study law. And then my auntie was complaining about my work hours. Yeah, because it was a very feminist organization. So I was leaving my auntie's house. I was not cooking. And there are some days I'll just come back and I'm like, I'm traveling tomorrow morning. We have a meeting in so and so place. And she never really understood, like who is this child leaving the house very early, coming back late at night. I really liked working there, but my auntie was like, okay, no, so your auntie has a school. We'll get you a job in the school. and just so for peace to reign, I looked at it and I was like, okay, I don't see me moving fast. And I noticed that some interns were already there for like 4 years and all of that, still earning the same amount of money. And I was like, and people were just okay with not growing. And I did have a problem with that. So I was like, okay, fine. I do like kids. No problem. Let me go. and working in school.
And so you transitioned to the school. How was that?
God. Here's the thing about it. On the journey of finding yourself, I really enjoy teaching. But at a point, I realized that I don't know if it's education in Lagos. I don't know if it's education in Nigeria now. But it's no longer education, it's business. Like, how am I a teacher and it's open day and I can't tell a parent that, oh, your child really is struggling. I have to lie or say, oh, your child is doing, that was it, that your child is doing well. The notes are incomplete, but your child is doing, like it was really pinching my body. There were a lot of things that didn't work out in that setting for me.
If you've been enjoying our conversations, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And if you want to share your stories with us, send us a DM or an email. So we usually have like scenarios that we or situations that have happened with people that we then read to our guests to try to get like their feedback or their thoughts on it. So I'm going to go with the first one. Person says, I just survived my first day at the job I prayed for. Let me take that again. It's very important. You prayed. I just survived my first day at the job I prayed for. 30 minutes into our first meeting, my boss slapped a colleague for making a mistake on a client's order.
Red flag.
I don't know if I should wait out the month and leave after collecting salary or ghost them now.
Number one, red flag. It's already there. You can wait, because maybe the first month will be nice to you. You can wait and collect your salary. Just carry your load and run.
So if this happened 2 weeks, then I'll say, okay, just wait till the end of the month. But this is your first day.
They're already slapping.
Like, you're basically just onboarded. Onboard yourself from that train.
They're already showing you bad character.
Because that's the thing. Somebody you'll be the next because you will make mistakes. It's a new job. You're learning. You make mistake because that's the thing. Why humans they will slap you too.
So I think this scenario took me back to like 2017 while I was working at this. I was working somewhere in 2017, and it wasn't exactly like they didn't slap anybody, right? But our boss then was trying to let us know how good they were to us. And their example was telling us that they have a friend that that friend's organization that they used to like, they shout at people, they will insult you, like they will do this and they will do that. So I'm not doing all that. That means I'm a good boss. But this is an organization. Yeah, do you understand? Wow. So this is like you're comparing yourself to such a bad situation to let us know that you are good. And it was really crazy because they weren't bad bosses per se, right? But there are certain things that people do that you just be like. And one of it was, I remember this situation with a colleague. It was actually, I'm sorry, I won't laugh, but then there are certain things that happen and that it's really bad, but it's funny at the same time. So it's like, you should not laugh. But it's like you have dark humor, or it's like you have a dark sense of humor, so you laugh. So I had gotten to this place and it was a startup. So I think they were just like getting to a year or thereabouts operating. And then I joined them. I stayed there for 6 months. Before I was there for 6 months, so their oldest employee was clocking a year there, not long after I'd gotten there, was clocking a year there. So they made like this big deal out of it. Oh. They were like celebrating, but everybody were all happy and everything. So they made this big deal, or the person was going to get like upgrading the salary and that type of thing. So she was so excited. And then they call her to the office to do her appraisal. They say to her that, oh, you know what? You've done a lot. We love your work. We did this, you did this, you did this. And they gassed her up. And then they gave her a letter, right? They've increased her salary. And then she opened the letter. She was so excited. And they had added 5K to her salary.
Please.
She cried.
Is that not madness?
Thank God. Like she was crying.
5,000.
And I was laughing. I'm sorry, because... it's bad. I was sad and I was upset.
There was no point.
But it's the whole dark sense of people. Yes, because like you made such a big deal out of it. Like,
so why even do that in the first place? Why?
Do you understand? Like, so it was a whole thing. She was gassed up, and we're all gassed up because we felt like
Maybe
at least,
100K.
yes, now if you get something, you know,
50K.
like
That's just wickedness.
5,000 naira.
5,000.
Make it make some kind of sense. So I think that, like, and with situations like that, you would see that. And one of the things I know they used to do then is rather than give you, so they would want you to stay long after you've clocked out, right? It's 5 p.m., you're done for the day. But they'd rather you're just there.
Doing nothing.
Doing,
How about you just going on,
right?
Nana?
They'd rather you do that. And they would also rather, like, give you food and, like, give you stuff in the office than to pay you well.
Wow.
You understand? Those type of people.
Some
So I
will
think
not even pay you well. They will not even give you food. They will still expect you to do heaven and earth.
Exactly. So I think that there's a like different range of how this thing can play out. Some people is more like in your face, so they can they scream, they use words, they tear you down. Some people they do their own like quietly.
Yeah.
Like so, like it's almost like you're imagining it. You get like it's like you tell yourself, are you crazy? Or do these people know what they are doing? Because then they will do something that is cool, and you're like, okay, maybe I'm mad. And then they will do something else, and you're like,
There's something wrong.
there's something that is not okay here. Do you get? So I think that in this situation, this situation is more like in your face.
No, this
so
one
you go
is
there, they
red.
slap somebody.
This is already red flag.
Exactly. But see, literally they did that 5K, I knew I had to leave. It's true. Because I'm wasting my time. She stayed there for a year and you guys are giving her 5,000 naira. I'm going to leave. And I left not long after that. I checked out.
Yes,
like I think like these things come in different ways. So when you work for every situation, even this one or whatever type of situation you guys are in, watch it, understand it, ask yourself if you want to be here long term, if this is what you want to be, where you want to be in 3 months. And if it is not, just start getting out. But for this person, I would say run out immediately. So I have one more scenario. Okay. I've worked with employees who are only interested in their paycheck and not company growth. Some of these people won't stay a minute past closing with uncompleted tasks. Yet they scream when salary delays a weekend. There's also an unwillingness to fill gaps. Is there any wonder why employers are hesitant to hire Gen Zs?
But what is their job title in the first place? When you were signing the contract, what was written there? So no, let's not thought you do this thing that we used to do in Nigeria. That we say, in my contract, it says 5, you're waiting, you want me to close by 8. It's not supposed to be like that. It doesn't happen. It's only in Nigeria that you see stupid, crazy things that you want people to work or stay 6. Okay, maybe my close hour is 5. You want me to say 6, 7 because or you come around the time I'm about to close and say, oh, I have a job for you at that 5, and say, oh, you have to do it now. That's just it's not there in the contract. If you want me to work overtime, they don't even pay for overtime. To say, oh, let me pay you for 1 hour that you're staying or 2 hours. They don't do that.
So you are saying that, the reason why people are not staying is because it's not in their contract.
Yeah. Gen Zs, their eyes are strong and their minds are very strong and they are very strong people that will say no. We will be the older ones like, okay, let's just do it. Their own is their time. You can't mess with it.
I love it.
You can't mess with it.
I think that also it's the fact that employers do not want to pay. So one person is doing like 3 people's jobs.
Exactly.
One person is doing like 3 people's job. But to put a balance to it, I've worked with some people, and this is not just Gen Zs. There are people who do not put in their hours, and they are the first to complain when salaries are not paid. Because and it's frustrating because I've worked with co-workers that don't show up.
That one is different.
They don't show up, but when they pay them salary.
So why are they even still working?
Yeah,
when they don't show up?
So some people are just there for this. Like I talked about my very structured multinational. I had a colleague that would hardly show up at work. At the moment they gave him query, in short, it was my boss that entered trouble for that query that they gave him. Like he was supposed to lose his job, but it was looking like it was the boss that gave him the query that was going to lose his job because he had lied that the boss was bullying him at that time. But he wasn't, he was frustrating his co-workers. You know, there are some people that frustrate their co-workers. They don't clock in on time. They don't show up on time. But I also see that also in that same structured system, you told me to start working. This one is not even early. This one is not even clocking late, clock out late. It was clocking time. My clocking was 8. It was not 9 to 5. I was working 8 to 5. My clocking was 8. But you're expecting me to start calling people by 6 a.m. There's also a problem with that. So in my contract, I'm supposed to work 45 hours. And I'm like, why am I clocking in by 6 a.m.? I didn't understand it because I now noticed that it was hybrid. I realized it was better to work in the office. I come in by 8 a.m., I clock in by 8. When it's 5, I close my laptop and back home. Because if you are working from home, you never really stop working. Because you start working as early as 4, sometimes as early, and you are there until late. And I'm like, what's really going on? I think that generally, and I noticed something is the moment a Nigerian became the CEO of that company, the hybrid system kind of faded out. Like, it's almost like Nigerians like slave trade. They're practicing it with their fellow Nigerians, but there's also the fact that some employees make it hard. They make it hard. I don't even care about the employers right now. They make it hard for their fellow workers because their co-workers bear the brunt of their issues. I do understand that it's two-way. Some employers take the piece, but some employees also need to do better. You're being paid a salary, do the work. And if you do your work, you can clock out at any time. But some people will not do work. They want to still clock out by 4:30. Come on.
I agree, actually. And I do think that for this person, this employer who is asking this question, the gist at the end of the day is, if you pay people well, and you pay them for the job they are supposed to do, expect them to do that job. If you then want to increase the job they are supposed to do, you have to increase their salaries and have conversations around that. Stop running away from conversations around like salary increments. Because usually a lot of times, I think what you find is employers drag employees, employees drag employers, right? And there's usually like no room to have these conversations. But the truth is, maybe sometimes we have to hold up the mirror and look at ourselves and say, okay, am I really a good boss? Am I a good employer? Am I a good employee? This has been a really, 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 really great conversation. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you for having us.
So happy to have you. We've had a really great conversation, and I hope there was something here for you. If you want to share your stories with us, our email is on screen. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Until next time, my name is Roberta Orioma, and this is Why I Hate My Boss.